The Trump administration looks set to revamp the H-1B visa program, raising the application fee to $100,000 and potentially upending one of the country's signature immigration policies. But what exactly is this program and who does it serve? The H-1B visa allows U.S. employers to hire foreign professionals in so-called specialty occupations, jobs that require at least a bachelor's degree, often in fields like computer science, engineering, or medicine. The idea is to fill labor shortages in areas where U.S. workers may be scarce by bringing in other individuals with skills not otherwise available in the domestic workforce. Now, workers cannot get this visa on their own. A U.S. employer needs to petition on their behalf, registering electronically and paying the required fees. And until now, the process typically cost employers just a few $1,000s, but under the Trump administration's changes, the price tag for a new application is set to jump to $100,000. Once registered, applications go through a selection process run by U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services, and not everyone who applies will be granted an H-1B visa. For the fiscal 2026 cycle, there were over 350,000 total registrations, but only 120,000 were selected.
H-1B visas are designed for what are designated as highly skilled workers from outside of the U.S. to come in and work in the U.S. They're heavily used by the tech industry. Joining me now to talk more about the effect of all this, Henrietta Treyz, Veda Partners Managing Partner and Director of Economic Policy. So Henrietta, it seemed as though there was initially a lot of confusion when this was announced. Now there's a little bit more clarity. It's a one-time fee, for example, not an annual fee. But we've seen more of an effect stock-wise on Indian companies than on U.S. tech giants. What are you hearing about how this is being digested?
Yeah, there's a lot of moving parts here. As you suggested, there was a lot of confusion as Secretary Lutnick came out and said that this was going to be an annual fee collected over 6 years, which would have been a material, ongoing, sort of persistent negative for what I think it's 71% of H-1B users that come from India. The bulk of the remainder come from China. But the negative hit of 6 consecutive years of $100,000 a pop would have been materially detrimental to India and migration over here. I think it's something like 86,000 workers per year that receive this H-1B visa. So it is a material negative for India. And what the administration has made clear, which is why some of the tech companies are being a little bit protected today and not responding in the same way, is that there were going to be licenses and exclusions and off-ramps for what you might assume would be the tech sectors that are closest to the administration and the CEOs there that are closest to the White House.
And Henrietta, as you mentioned, this also has implications for U.S. relations with India. This ahead of UN Week here in New York, where global leaders gather. President Trump scheduled to speak tomorrow. Presumably, we'll see some maybe handshakes between Trump and Modi. Who knows? But what are you sort of looking for and zeroing in on there?
Yeah, the U.S.-India trade situation is not good. Not only do we not have a deal with India, but the tariffs keep ratcheting up. Latest is obviously this H-1B visa situation. But prior to that, we'd had the Russia secondary tariffs imposed by President Trump at unilateral authority through the International Economic Powers Act, and basically saying, you guys are not negotiating with the United States the way that we want. We know that Ambassador Greer, the current USTR, has been very focused on India, not just in the second Trump administration, but also in the first, originally stripping them of their GSP status. And they have a lot of issues to work through. There are at least 3 phases of trade negotiations that they anticipated working on with India. And we're not even done with the first one yet. And it's October, or almost October. So there's a long way to go.